I asked him to let another guy into our relationship. His revenge was so much worse. This might have the internet divided on so many levels. There is no right or wrong in this story. Every person is gray, just like how it is supposed to be in normal life. I mean, I see people who clearly tell who is at fault by judging them based on a single action. They don't know the whole story behind what made the person do it in the first place. Not everyone likes drama in their lives. Some do, but trust me, it's not pretty after that. I know it better than anybody else. What I am about to share will probably be looked down upon, but hey, why should I even care? I was the one that had to go through it all, so I should be the only one to feel anything about it. I don't mean to cause a global outrage due to my confession, but I can see it coming. I know you think that I might be hyping it up for nothing, but trust me, you will feel repulsed by the end of all this. Let me first introduce myself before I start off drowning you with all the details so that you can pick a side on who you are with. Just kidding. I know that most of you would be on my side as I was the one who was miserable in my marriage. My name is Sheila, female 31, married to Mikhail, male 37 for 3 years. The way we met was quite normal, nothing like how it happens in movies. We dated for a while, and since we both were quite interested in each other, we decided to get married. Not a fairy tale love story as you guys might have expected. Come on, guys, my life is more of a plain Jane, except for the events that I will be sharing. I never expected it to become so messy and juicy in a matter of a few months. I do find some of it bittersweet, but I am glad that it is all over, or will be over soon. Too soon to tell how it pans out. My marriage ceremony was like any other normal one would be, nothing too fancy or too outrageous. After the marriage, we would share chores, get ready for work, and catch up with each other over the weekends. It was like second nature how our life had become so monotonous. Not like we were complaining about it. In fact, we were quite comfortable with this routine. We even had set days for sex. I know it sounds crazy, but don't judge us, guys. It worked for us, well, for the most part. Our life had become so predictable, and everything had a set pattern. Somewhere I think we both knew that this was not how life was supposed to be lived. Who was going to confront and say it? We were both non-confrontational, so we just lived and let things be the way they were. Deep down, we both wanted something more from each other. We could see it in our eyes, but we also knew that opening up about it would lead to a lot of changes which we were not ready for. So like we always did, we stayed silent and lived the way we did before. When we went out to socialize, it was more awkward to listen to how other couples had no set times for everything. They even had inside jokes and other common things on which they would argue and fight. It was very unusual for us to hear about the fights between them when they looked so happy and compatible. Was that even healthy? We both looked at each other as if they were doing something wrong. You know, how could you yell and scream at a person and still be willing to live with them after all the drama? This was something that we decided that we would never do. Maybe that was the reason why we never had any fight or disagreement. When people asked us if we had any recent outbursts, we would make up stories about our fake fights so that we could fit in. One day, Mikhail and I were watching a movie, and I said something out loud that was so out of character. I was both shocked and surprised that I could even have said that. He thought he heard it wrong, so he asked me again what it just mentioned. I firmly said that it would be nice to try a threesome and see how it can improve our bedroom game. In my words, I wanted to add some spice to our sex life. I felt like an idiot and was mentally cursing myself for saying it like that. He did act surprised at first. He was very unwilling and reluctant to the idea. He was even upset and did not talk to me. I had my way of getting him to say yes to things that I wanted him to do. When we had our fixed sex days, I acted disinterested and let him do all the work. I just lay there like a dead body and did not even direct him with any instructions, or if I was liking what he was doing. After a few days, I was surprised that he gave in so quickly when he said that he wanted to see how things can change between us if we did not have a set routine for everything. He said that maybe this would change our lives for the better. He promised me that if any of us did not like it, then we could go back to our regular lives. I mean, what was there to lose, right? I was hesitant at first, thinking that he could not be serious about it, but the look on his face said otherwise. Since he was already on board, I was really happy, because I had wanted to have sex with another man for quite some time, but never knew how to approach this topic. I was obviously relieved and delighted to see that I would be getting another man to enjoy along with my husband. What was best was that it would be right in front of his eyes, so I did not have to worry about anything, and if things went bad, I could just blame him for it. The first day was obviously awkward. It felt strange to get naked and have sex with another man in front of Mikhail, but since he was enjoying watching me have sex with someone else so much, that I just gave in and went for it. It was weird that Mikhail did not even bother to let us have any introductions, and just started getting naked. Maybe that was why I was awkward about it. I noticed that I was the only one feeling a little out of place in this entire situation, so I also decided to make the best of it. Why should only men be able to enjoy such things, right? All in all, it was a fun night and way too out of our comfort zone, but hey, it's a good night if no one is complaining about it. I slept like a baby after the entire adventure, because there was so much action in the night. I did not even bother where Mikhail was, or if he even was beside me. That was how tired I was. The next day I got up and saw that the guy he bought in to improve our sex life was still in our house and making breakfast. I was in my lingerie, so I ran inside to put on some clothes. We did have sex, but I was not going to shamelessly walk naked in the house with this man. I came back and he asked me if I wanted some breakfast. Why not? I will gladly accept breakfast if that saves me some time to get dressed for work. He made some savage breakfast and coffee. While passing me food, he introduced himself as Arvin. We chatted for a while about life. Nothing about last night was mentioned. I was glad that we did not discuss any positions or how things went last night. It was the last thing I wanted to think about before leaving for work. I did not bother waking Mikhail or let him know that this man was still at home. I assumed that he would have probably offered to let him stay, so I just left a text for Mikhail to see when he wakes up. The next few nights were the same. Arvin, Mikhail, and I would have sex. Arvin would be up early making breakfast while Mikhail was out of the picture. I did not know what his deal was. Did Mikhail hire a person who could both cook and have sex? I had no idea why he would stay over at night every day and make breakfast the next morning. I asked Mikhail about it, and he said that Arvin would be staying with us for a while till he finds a place close to our house. I mean, it was not discussed or even mentioned. It just became a normal thing in our lives having Arvin around. I was not even consulted or let known that this was going to be the new normal for us. It was supposed to be for a few days, which soon turned into months. I did try to tell Mikhail to try and talk to him about moving out. It was nice at first, but now I feel like it was an invasion of our private lives. Mikhail's argument was that he had seen both of us naked, so how much more privacy do we have left? Well, it was a valid point, but still we had other things that were still intimate and private between us. Mikhail tells me that we still have a bedroom where we could discuss personal stuff. As time went by, I saw a different side of this guy. He would help me with house chores, cooking, cleaning, decluttering. My gosh, it was like I had someone who understood how much work goes into keeping a house tidy, which unfortunately, not many men know or appreciate. He was like a soulmate of mine when it came to cleaning and keeping things organized. I loved spending time with him, talking about shitty things in life which no man would really care to listen and talk so intently. I did not even realize how smoothly Mikhail was replaced by Arvin in my life without even realizing it. We would have meals together and forget that Mikhail even existed in our lives. It was more like this house belonged to me, and Arvin and Mikhail were guests here. Mikhail started noticing that me and Arvin were more involved with each other during our threesomes and just ignored him. He started to see how his plan was backfiring on him. He thought that I would be the one to back out of this, but I was having the time of my life, so there was no way I was going to ask to stop. Mikhail then brought it up in a random conversation, asking me if I wanted Arvin to be let go now that we have started having a decent rapport. I looked puzzled and asked him if he was being jealous of him since he was better at sex than him. He just laughs and says that he finds Arvin to be gay, like the way he behaves, and does all the house chores. I defend Arvin that just because he likes keeping the house clean and organized does not mean that he is gay. The way he enjoys sex and the way he makes the women feel while having sex is a testament that he was not gay. Mikhail got annoyed and left the room. I spoke to Arvin and told him to be careful. Mikhail was probably onto us, and it would be better if we just kept our spidey senses on. I also told him to be okay with the idea of stopping the threesomes if Mikhail was going to suggest it. Obviously, there was no way I wanted Mikhail to know what was happening behind his back. Well, it was also happening in front of him, but that was with his consent, and this was without. But shh, if he does not know it, then it is not happening. We made sure to have minimal conversations in front of Mikhail just to make him be a bit at ease. It might work or it might not. The only thing that was going to happen was Arvin being asked to leave the house. It was not like I would not be able to meet him outside. As if, just by stopping the threesomes was not going to stop me and Arvin from having some fun. I was not really worried about Mikhail wanting an end to this new thrilling life that we had been living. The next night, I got ready as usual, in my sexy lingerie, expecting both the men to get into bed with me. Mikhail came in alone and turned off the lights after putting on some light music. He was setting up the mood, which was not a bad idea. He made the room pitch dark and said that today we would be trying something new. I told him that I was looking forward to it. He blindfolded me and handcuffed me while asking me to be patient. Here I was unnecessarily stressed about Mikhail finding out something that he was not supposed to. I relaxed my brain and my body, anticipating the new sex adventure that we were about to unravel. Mikhail then told me that he would be playing a game of taste and tell. He would make me taste items and guess what they were. He playfully said that it could even be body parts, which I needed to guess right to go to the next level. It seemed to be exciting, so I was looking forward to it. I think he wanted to start off easy, so he gave me chocolate. It was easy to guess, but the thing was, he wanted me to take the entire chocolate and eat it. I found that weird, but I anyway did it as I wanted to know what was going to be next. We did a few more obvious things like ice, lemon, green chilies, and I was now starting to get bored. Also, there was no hint of Arvin in the room. Was it just going to be me and Mikhail tonight? Did he talk to Arvin and ask him not to get involved anymore? I had no clue what was going on, and while I was thinking all of this, I felt something being shoved in my mouth. I could not make out what it was, so I was trying to gulp the liquid to figure it out. Mikhail said that he was going to wait for me to keep guessing and help me with more and more of it. I really had no idea, so I gave up. He then moved on to the next item without revealing what it was. The next thing was something pulpy and even more difficult to guess. I gave up on that as well. I did not know if he wanted me to guess all this or just let me eat things without a reason. The game was finally over without leading to sex, which was disappointing. Mikhail then uncuffed me, and I removed my blindfolds to see what all the things I was eating were. The lights went on, and I saw a naked girl lying beside me, smiling very coyly at me. I was shocked to see her naked. Mikhail did not seem like he was going to give any explanations soon. He took his time sipping his drink and making himself comfortable in his chair. I wanted to scream at him, asking what the hell was going on, but I knew better, so I just waited patiently for him to talk. He finally asked me if I liked his surprise. I pointed at the girl, asking if he was talking about her. He nodded and said that he figured that I was being a little too naughty with Arvin, so he wanted to see if I would be the same with someone else. I looked even more confused. I mean, he got a girl and was expecting me to have sex with her? There was no way I was going to do that. I told him that I was willing for him to have fun with the girl alone and started to leave. He asked me to stay back, as he was sure that what he was about to show me would really interest me. I sat on the bed, very disinterested, as I was already pissed for not being able to have sex after all the build-up, which ended up in nothing. He played a video from tonight on the TV. It was of me in lingerie being handcuffed and blindfolded. I was a little taken aback that he was filming our intimate moments, but I continued to see what more there was in it. The first few items that he gave me to taste were the obvious ones, which I could guess. What came next not only shocked me, but made me feel disgusted from the bottom of my stomach. In the video, I could clearly see myself licking the same naked girl in her private areas, and Mikhail having a cynical laugh in the background. I felt disgusted, and felt like throwing up just by looking at the video. I went to the bathroom, threw up everything that I had been given to taste, and came back to catch my breath. I could not believe Mikhail could do something wild and outrageous to me. Once I was sure that my mouth was all clean, I came into the room and yelled at him. I first asked him to get this naked woman out of the room. Just the sight of her was making me relive those visuals. After she was gone, I asked Mikhail what he meant by all of this. He said that he knew something was going on between me and Arvin. The way I looked at him while having sex was very different. He then did not take much time to figure out what was going on. He even came to talk to me, and as per him, he would have let go of it if I had admitted it back then. He knew that he was the one who got Arvin between the two of us, so he would not have blamed me for it. But my refusal and denial that there was nothing going on pissed him off. He wanted to take revenge, but also wanted it to be on the same level. He knew that even if he would have had sex with another woman, it would not have hurt me as much as doing this did. The feeling of being used by someone you trust is what he wanted me to remember for a long time. I tried to say something that could make me feel like what I did was nothing wrong, but I knew that I would be lying to myself if I didn't admit it even now. I told Mikhail that I was really sorry that I got carried away by Arvin. It was just that he was so charming and good in bed, and on top of that, he knew to say the right things at the right time. I could not help but fall for him and cross all boundaries. Mikhail said that he was done with his revenge now and expected me to pack my bags and leave. I tried to reason with him that it was all his fault that it became such a mess. I challenged him that if there was a girl in Arvin's place, I was sure that he would be the one losing himself to her. At least I tried to develop a real connection with him, which was not just about sex, unlike what he would have done. He laughed and said that he got Arvin to learn how to make me enjoy sex more with new techniques, but it looks like I enjoyed him rather than his techniques. He trusted me with everything and did not hesitate to bring another man into our bedroom because he was confident that I would never be swayed. But now he knows how wrong he was about me and my very low standards. I knew that I had lost the argument here. There was nothing more I could say after this point. It was true that getting another person between a couple requires courage, and he did that for my happiness, but I screwed him over literally. I knew that it was time for me to shut up and face the consequences. He told me that either I was leaving or he was going to release this video for the world to see. I had no choice but to agree to leave. I still wanted to give it another try and tried to talk to Mikhail the next day about reconciling and forgetting about the past few weeks and living our normal lives. Mikhail would not budge and asked me to make sure that I took out all my stuff in one go. He was even willing to pay for the expenses, if he had to, so that he does not have to see me again. I was fuming with anger at his remarks, but I knew that though it hurt, that was the truth. I told him that I would be gone and he did not have to worry about it. I was upset at myself for making such a blunder, which resulted in ending a relationship which I was very happy and comfortable with. I am writing this to keep myself occupied in this new empty house which has boxes of my stuff lying around. It has been a month since I moved here, but still am unable to bring myself to unbox everything. I still feel like there would be something magical happening, and Mikhail would come asking me to move back in with him. I just keep daydreaming about the possibility again and again, which I know would never happen. I wish I could turn back time and go to the day when Mikhail suggested a threesome and say no to it. All this would never have happened then. I just wish things would have been different, and we would still be together. It was not like I was in love with Arvin, that I would have gone to him after leaving Mikhail. Arvin was more like a temporary comfort from all the things happening around me. I never once thought of him as someone I could possibly spend my life with. For anyone wondering, that door was never open to begin with. I feel a little less anxious after putting all the events in writing. This might give me closure and help me move on with my life. I must admit that life without Mikhail would be so boring and so worthless, but still you gotta do what you got to do to live. I'm going to fake it till I make it seem like I am happy and successful with or without Mikhail. It would be a task, but I might as well try. I just hope I don't fall down the hill while climbing it by doing so much at a time and pushing myself so hard to get even simple things done. How I wish everything would be back to how it was when I woke up, and this would be a scary nightmare. I wish life was that simple. Hoping everyone else good luck with your partners, and please don't end up like me by making crappy choices. Sending positive vibes to everyone reading this. Thank you for sticking around this messy plot. See you all on the bright side of life.